Hey everyone, thank you for downloading another episode of The Retro Gamers. Contrary to popular belief, this is episode 98. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
What's going on, Ant?
I don't know, yeah, thank you for making that clarification, because last week I was a little bit confused.
We getting there, though. We getting there. It doesn't really matter at this point. We're so close.
You know what? I blame jet lag.
Fair enough. Well, if anyone's got it, you do.
Yeah, no, trust me. Like at this point, it's in my blood. It's never going away. I will never ever know what time zone I'm in.
You live outside of time.
I live outside of time. That's right, where the DeLorean can't go.
Oh, boo. So good stuff happening here as we barrel roll our way to episode 100. Now we're literally just a couple of weeks away. Is it going to be a game changer? No pun intended.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a game changer. It's I'm definitely excited for it. I feel like we've got a couple of things up our sleeve that we're going to be doing to celebrate the 100th. Hey, it's like in life, how often do you get to celebrate 100 of anything?
I know I'm never going to celebrate a birthday that's 100. I know that. Yeah,
I'm fairly confident that that's the same with me too. So now that we got that out of the way, and now I'm semi-depressed. Thank you, Larry.
Well, hey, look, I'm just saying. But anyway, episode 100 is going to be awesome. We're going to figure it out. We're going to have some guests on that, we can tell you, and they're going to be some fun guests. But other than that, this week we're kind of, shooting from the hip, if you will.
Yeah, every once in a while I feel like it's fun to just kind of talk about random stuff, because I know you're not as crazy as I am when it comes to like having everything very straight, organized. Like we know what we're talking about, from the get-go. So you're not a planner like that.
Absolutely not. No, and actually I was I wouldn't say scolded, but another host on another podcast that I do may have informed me of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not in a bad way. Some shows are structured, some are not. That's, like the better half. It's just, we tried being structured. We still try to be structured, me and Frank, but we just end up just shooting from the hip. We just get in there, and it's two friends for 15 years that just talk BS. I mean, there's no topic to that. This show has a topic. The yin and the yang has a topic. The better half is just two goons talking.
Well, it started with a topic, and then it just kind of became something different. That's all.
It did.
Because, I'm going to fess up on something right now, and that's that up until maybe a week or two ago, I haven't really been listening to any podcasts. And now, let me phrase it correctly. Not just the Retro Gamers or anything in the More of the Same network, but in general, I'm just not a podcast listener. I definitely don't listen to our shows, because you know how I feel about listening to myself. Yeah. It's definitely not one of my favorite things to do.
This is true. So to be honest with you, I guess as we get to 100, we can start talking about this. As you heard, the show evolved. The show definitely evolved as years go on. I mean, as the episodes went on. And Anthony put in just as equal wording and ideas as I do. But the production of it really is me 100%.
Well, and it has to be, because I just really don't like listening to my voice. Now, the one week you were out not too long ago, and I did the episode without you.
Yes,
I had to do the editing and send it to you. And I think my ears bled just a little bit. I definitely took a little blood out of each ear listening to myself. So I'm still not there yet.
You live in Hollywood. Or right outside Hollywood. You should expect to be, used to this if you're gonna start starring in your own shows.
What do you mean starring? I'm more of the behind the camera person. If you haven't realized that yet,
I would be the on-air talent. This is correct.
You definitely would be. We are. See, like right now, I mean, this is as far as I've gone in terms of me being the talent, and that's us doing the podcast. One time I stepped in front of the camera for one of my shows that I co-wrote, and I wasn't very happy with my performance.
Oh, the web show. I won't say the name if you don't want, but the web show, the web series.
Yeah, there was a web series. There was a web series I did
I thought you were
about
right.
8 years ago.
Wow,
What?
was it that long ago?
It was 8 years ago.
Good Lord.
Well, let me rephrase that. We released it 8 years ago. We shot it 9 years ago.
Really? Wow,
Yeah,
unbelievable, honestly.
Yeah, we shot it in 2009. We released it February of 2010. And just for anybody who's listening, the name of the web series is We're Seeing Someone.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 6-episode season. It was a comedy. And what happened was my friends and I were like, I know this isn't video game related.
It's all right. You know what? Listen, we're almost at episode 100. We might as well kind of let the people know who we are. I think, they want to know that.
No, very true. So the web series, a bunch of friends of mine and I were at a New Year's Eve party, and we were literally sitting there. There were 6 of us, and we were like, you know what? And we were all in the entertainment industry in one way or another. I write, I have friends that act, so on and so forth. And we were like, hey, why don't we write a web series with 6 people, and we'll be the 6 people? And at the time, I was like, great, we'll do that. And so we wrote it with 6 characters in mind, and we each had our own character, and we did. And then we got to the point where we raised money. We raised money to shoot it. And we were, up until a month before we were shooting it, we were all reading the parts. And then I turned around and said I wanted to back out because I'm like, you know what? I go, this is fun reading it with you guys. I'm like, but I'm not an actor. I go, that's just never been a thing that I do. So I wanted to step away. They wouldn't let me. So, but conveniently enough, one of the other guys who was working with us on it, he stepped away, and we replaced him with an actor. But they wouldn't let me step away, and I wound up acting in it. So,
hey, listen, it gives you some chops.
It is what it is. It made it to IMDb, so I'm famous.
There you go.
Right? I'm famous. I have IMDb credits. Woo!
I'm still working on mine.
As I say, who doesn't? But anyway, so that was like almost 9 years ago.
That's nuts.
It was 9 years ago, which is crazy. And now I've already forgotten how I got off on this tangent. We were talking about the better half. We were talking about how I don't like listening to the sound of my voice.
Yeah, I do all the production and everything like that, which is fine. I have no problem with it.
Right.
You have to do the editing.
Well, and then I do the prep work. I try and update the web page, although it's under construction. We're under construction at the moment.
It's all right.
But I do more of that side of things.
Yes.
So, but while listening to the better half, because now I've actually started listening to a podcast, which is great. And by the way, it gets me through traffic. It gets me through LA traffic usually I get through LA traffic, and I'm so angry and exhausted by the time I get home that I just want to go to bed. So, but now listening to the podcast, I at least get some laughs out of it. You guys have really good chemistry and whatnot. And this is not to promote your show, but it's just a good show. The only problem I have with the show is that because it's you and Frank, two really good, two friends of mine, it sounds more like I'm on the phone with you guys. So at times I want to speak up and chime into the conversation. And then I have to remind myself, I'm like, no, this is a pre-recorded podcast. So it's the only thing that trips me up.
Well, you do call in one of the episodes.
Oh, that's right. So when that happens, I'll skip over it.
I don't remember which episode. I think it's the first one we did live calls on.
Yes, it is. And I'll get there. Don't worry. Yeah. I'll get there. Skip over it. It's all good.
It's easy. It's every other week, so it's easy to quickly get there.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'm on like episode 5 now.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Did you get to Frankie's episode?
No, not yet.
Okay.
No. I got to the episode that Frankie was supposed to be on, but he canceled.
Okay, so I think that's like a week or an episode or 2 later we get him on. Look, I have fun editing. I learned a lot how to do the edit audio. Like Anthony's really good with the video editing. I'm getting better with the audio editing. But editing that episode with Frankie, who's been on this show, he was on the show when we did the live from Barcade, and he was the one that suggested the superhero episode. But I had to do, because the better half is uncensored, so much editing because he wouldn't shut up and he wouldn't stop dropping names when he shouldn't be dropping names.
Oh, yeah, that's
an asshole.
Well, he's Frankie. We love him for that.
That's about, if you know him, he's Frankie.
Exactly. That should be another podcast.
And he still hits me up. I mean, we always talk often, but he's always telling me, like some of the games that he finds, and when he goes like to the flea markets. And now that the weather is getting better, I'm waiting to hear back from him a little bit more.
Don't talk to me about weather, please.
Yeah, it's been unbearably hot over there, huh?
It hit 119 at my house on Friday.
Good Lord.
So today was a light day. It was 105.
Oh, jeez.
I know, it's just, and not only that, it's been humid, which is a whole other story. So, anyway, so I thought, like, getting back to the better half. So I thought, like, this could be a good episode where we just kind of talk about random game stuff, because aside from, like, I love talking about topics and things like that, but I also like I like the idea of us just discussing, like, random things that we're coming across or that we're doing or things we saw online that we just want to, like, speak about really quickly, stuff like that. It's kind of something we don't do that often, and I know we did it a few weeks ago, and I really liked doing it. So, yeah. And I just wanted to start it off by, so I've been, how I am. I'm a completionist with my video games,
Absolutely.
Right?
With a lot of things.
And I've talked, right? Well, with a lot of things, it's like when I start something, I want to finish it. That's it. It's like I usually will do whatever I need to do in order to complete a task or a project. That's probably why I'm a natural born project manager. But one of the things that has always dogged me has been the Tomb Raider video game series, because way back when I got Tomb Raider 1 when it first came out, absolutely revolutionary game. It's in the Video Game Hall of Fame for a reason. And, I played through the first one, and then I got the second one, and eventually the third one. Now, I got about halfway through the second one, and I got stuck. And I never went back to finish it. And as a result, now most people would be like, oh, you know what, I got stuck, screw it, I'm moving on, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how to move on. I just don't.
And it's
there's
been
like
years.
Well, no. It's been like almost 20 years, or if not, it's been 20 years, and it still dogs me to this day. It's like there's a hole inside of me that needs to be filled with completing Tomb Raider 2. 20 years later, I still have Tomb Raider 3 shrink wrapped, because I refuse to open and play it until I finish Tomb Raider 2. It's for me. It's like watching movies. It's like I can't watch Scream 3 if I haven't watched 1 and 2. So I haven't finished Tomb Raider 2, so I can't go to 3. Even though the stories aren't connected, I still can't move on. And that also includes Tomb Raider 4. That includes all the other Tomb Raiders I've purchased. They're sitting there waiting for me to finish Tomb Raider 2.
You know how much money you can probably get right now for Tomb Raider 3 sealed?
I know, and you know what? I still plan on opening it when I'm done with 2. It was actually a birthday gift that I got.
Oh, was it?
So I have no idea who gave it to me for my birthday, but I apologize. I still have it. I still have your birthday gift, and I promise I will play it.
Maybe
but
it was
now
me. I feel insulted.
It wasn't you. But anyway, but now where I'm at is when the original Tomb Raider was put in the Video Game Hall of Fame, I did a live stream of it, on my PlayStation, just as, hey, you know what, this is what Tomb Raider's like, it just got into the Hall of Fame. But now, because I started Tomb Raider 1 again, I want to finish it before I go to Tomb Raider 2. So now, like now I'm just like all the way back. But I've been live streaming Tomb Raider.
You have, actually.
I did a couple of streams last night. The first one was short because it had no audio. I don't know why my computer resets the audio settings when I want to when I set up a stream.
Really?
So yeah, and I don't know why. I have to constantly go in and do it. And sometimes when I start my stream, I forget. Huh. So anyway, I played through some more of Tomb Raider 1 this would be Saturday night. I had forgotten how empty the boards are in that game because it's a lot of seek and discovery and like finding things to open other things. So it's more like problem solving than it is like action.
I think that's why I never really liked. I didn't enjoy playing it. Like I need stuff happening.
Yeah. You need things happening, and I totally get that. But for me, I like puzzles. I like trying to solve puzzles and whatnot. So like this game was right up my alley. With the occasional alligator or dinosaur or gorilla attacking you because
Yeah.
somehow a T-Rex was encased in was trapped inside a tomb and survived all these years.
With the live streaming and with Tomb Raider, and we talked about this once before as well. Not just your the need to get that 100% completion on a game, but like for me, I know in the beginning, we used to talk about how I didn't. I never completed games. A very small handful, I probably count on one hand, I completed throughout my life. Whereas recently, when we started doing this podcast, and for a little while I was streaming, all of a sudden I started beating games left and right. Old games, Super C. I beat Contra without the code finally.
Wow.
There was a couple games that I didn't stream, a couple Game Boy games that all of a sudden now I'm finally completing.
You're growing up.
I finally am. I think it's patience. When I
Yes.
was younger, I would just try and blow through these games. Metal Gear Solid tried to teach us to slow down with the games, where stealth becomes the key. But I was always running and gunning. Now that I have patience, for some video games, I do take my time. Even in new games, like in PUBG, I'll just take my time. I don't have to fire a single shot. Just kind of slowly work my way to try and be the last man standing. And that's working with classic games.
And that's the thing. It's like you do need a lot of patience in them, especially when you're playing. Because you got to remember, like these games were not. I don't want to say they weren't difficult to beat. They were not long games per se.
Yeah.
Most games were not terribly long, but they made them very, very difficult so that you couldn't beat them that easily. And you did need that patience. And when you're a kid, it's like, ooh, something shiny, and off you go. You're running. So that and that would just happen naturally with gaming. Now me, I was not that kind of kid. I was the type of kid where it's like, okay, if I'm going to start it, I'm going to finish it. So I beat a ton of games when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. What I'm finding is happening to me is actually the opposite of what's happening to you, because I found now when I go back to games that I used to beat with no problem, I would fly right through it, bing, bang, boom, all done. I'm like, I go back and play those games now, and I can't get through them. And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong.
Is it like the muscle memory is gone?
I think the muscle memory is gone. And I also think that part of the other problem I see is, we're human beings are creatures of habit, right? We all have routines and whatnot. I find that I get trapped in a routine even when I'm playing a video game. So in other words, like if I'm doing the same move and it kills me every time, it takes me longer to try something different. So I'll do the same move like 6 or 7 times before I say, oh, well, I actually really do need to try something else.
Because you're hell-bent on doing it the way you want to try and do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, for the past year, I've been trying to beat Nightmare on Elm Street. I've been throwing up random streams here and there when I get in the mood to play it. Still can't get through it.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results.
Yes, and you know what? And that is me. If I were to define myself in one way, that would be it. I am my own Groundhog Day.
So that's, as we live stream, you'll see us. We will continue to try and beat as much as we can. Something, and we're going to kind of just bounce around here, really. I've noticed, and I don't know if you've seen this in your stores, a lot of people have been posting these. Really, it's been Walmart and Target, like the return of these, not necessarily some plug and plays, like those cool one-off plug and plays, but also kind of like the old, not necessarily from Coleco, but like those old little mini arcades like that used to be Coleco.
Yes.
Those have been popping up all over now.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Actually, you know where else I see them at? Barnes & Noble.
Really?
Yeah, Barnes & Noble have these little...
I meant, really, there's still Barnes & Nobles open?
Oh, yeah, no, they exist. The last surviving bookstore chain. But I've noticed that Barnes & Noble, they have like a video game themed like end cap.
Okay.
And you just go around and it's got like the Funko Pops and all this stuff. But then they have like the classic football handheld game.
Okay, yes.
Or like a handheld Space Invaders or a handheld Centipede. And they're just really cool. And it just makes me pine for those. I'm not going to start buying them again because I'm in the process of like purging things on eBay as we speak because like I am out of room. Oh. There's no room in my home.
About it. Well, I mean,
yes, I see that.
Yeah.
But so I'm in the middle of a purge.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I mean, yes, careful.
12 hours.
Thank God. But you know what? I mean, these things are popping up everywhere because you know what retro is in now. I sent you a couple of images from a comic store at Universal City Walk, and they have a little video game section. And yeah, so like I found coasters in the shape of original NES cartridges.
Those were awesome, and it looked like the NES Classic box.
Yeah. It was really, really cool. I did not buy them, although I was second-guessing myself. I should have probably bought them, so I'm going to go back and pick those up. And then the other thing that I found that was really cool, probably more for you than me, but it was a little mini arcade keychain of Miss Pac-Man.
Yes. Oh, wait, that was a keychain?
It was a keychain.
Oh, wow.
It was a little mini arcade keychain of Miss Pac-Man that when you press the button on the arcade cabinet, it starts, and Miss Pac-Man starts going. Now, it's just a brief clip of it. You can't play it. But it's just a brief clip with the music. With the start music.
Oh, it's absolutely.
It's really cool. They also had, I think they also had Space Invaders and one other game. I can't remember.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, I didn't realize it was a keychain. That's just a heavy keychain.
Exactly. But yeah, it's just like, since retro is such a big thing now, it's like it's amazing what you see popping up in places.
Yeah.
And like you said, like bringing back the original handhelds. I would love to see them re-release the Nintendo handheld games. I would love some of those.
Imagine if they did that.
I would. I would run right out. I would run right out and buy like Oil Panic and all of them.
Oh, like those. Okay, I was gonna say, you pick yourself up a Game Boy Micro, and you'd be able to play a whole bunch of Game Boy Advance games, and the Micro's like that big. It's not big at all.
And I could play that on my 55-inch LED screen TV thanks to the Retro Freak.
This is true. Speaking of which, I like it. So, I've emailed Retro Freak just to bring everyone up to speed. I bought a Retro Freak, paid way more money than Anthony did, and the Genesis portion just doesn't work. It's too small to take a Genesis cartridge, and I know this because Retro Freak's own Game Gear adapter does not fit in the Genesis port. So, for like a week, I was emailing them, but it turns out it was the wrong email, so just kept having it bounce back. Finally, I got through to them, like the end of June. They said, all right, we'll talk to the, manager or whatever. We'll see what we can do to kind of get this rectified. Haven't heard back since. I've emailed them again since then. Of course, in my head, I'm like, oh, maybe because it was the holiday, the 4th of July. They don't celebrate the 4th of July. In fact, that's the last thing they probably want to celebrate. So I'm like, all right, well, that's not the case. So they should be responding. Haven't heard from them. So...
I'm sorry.
I'm stuck.
I would return it.
And again, how?
Yeah, just return it.
So
find a way. Find a way. Find an excuse. If you have an email trail showing that you put in a complaint within however much time you need to, you should be able to return it for a refund because it's faulty.
Yeah.
And then you let Anthony go back to Japan and get you a good one.
Well, have you tried yours yet?
No.
Okay, so before you do that, let me know if you get the Genesis working.
I will. Well, I haven't had a chance to open it yet because A, I've been traveling a lot, and B, now that I'm home, like for the last couple of weeks that I've been home, I've been trying to get my house back in order.
Okay.
I've been trying to get back on the right time zone. And yeah, like I said, like I'm at the point now where it's like I've got to purge some things before I can start opening new things and putting them out on shelves.
Fair enough.
So my Retro Freak and my Commodore 64, my C64 Mini is still in its box. I know, and I will be live streaming that
yes,
when I have that open because that's going to be awesome.
I'm dying to see that. I forgot you picked that up.
Yeah. Well, and not only that, I'm trying to find a place where I can put my original Commodore 64, so I can start. Now that like live streaming that has to be through like my phone camera or something.
Oh yeah, there ain't a chance in hell that you can find something that will hook it up.
Oh no! Wait a minute! No! I forgot. I have an AV adapter for it.
It had an AV. How?
No, here's the story. All right, so Charlie, you know Charlie.
Yep.
Charlie, who's been on our show before, he's responsible for making VV Sucks so popular. But his wife, Christine, who I used to work with, that's how I got to know Charlie, because Christine and I have been really good friends because we used to work together back in New York. She was getting it, to my knowledge, she was getting rid of her Commodore 64, and she's like, "Do you want it?" And I said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
So she gave it to me, and when I opened it up, I'm like, "Oh," I was like, "Well, how do I hook it up?" She's like, "I had somebody make an AV adapter so you can plug it into your television."
Really?
So she actually had somebody make that for her.
She's got a modded C64.
It's just a wire that was modded.
Look, I'm going to consider that a modded Commodore 64. That is awesome.
Yeah. So I have the modded Commodore 64, so I can actually plug it into my television, which means that I can live stream it the way that I live stream my other games.
That you have to. Definitely.
No, I definitely no. I will. I promise that I will as soon as I find a place for it.
Oh man, look forward to that, folks. Right on our Facebook page, facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast. And so with that, we're gonna take just a quick break. For you, it's gonna be a couple seconds. We're gonna step away for a moment. I feel like I've never done this in 100 episodes. We'll be right back.
All right, Larry, it is time for this week's Did You Know?
Ooh.
And I have a very interesting one for you.
Do ya?
Yeah, we talk all the time about how much I hate the Virtual Boy, right? And how much you love the Virtual Boy. Hashtag VB Sucks, by the way, still going strong. So I wanted to find out officially what is considered the worst selling console of all time.
Over everything. Sega, Sony, Microsoft.
Everything.
Okay.
Worst selling console of all time. Okay? Now, did you know that your beloved Virtual Boy made the list? that part's not surprising
it's
at
gotta be
all.
top 5. Virtual Boy's got to be top 5.
Okay, so what surprised me about this is that the Virtual Boy is in the top 5.
Ooh.
At number 5.
Really?
Yes.
Look, all joking aside, that is actually shocking me.
Yep. So the Virtual Boy is at number 5 with 770,000 units sold.
Is that worldwide or?
That is, I think, worldwide.
Okay.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Okay. So 770,000 units sold worldwide. Okay. Now I'm going to run through just the top 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 4 is the CDI,
Really?
which sold 570,000.
Wow, I am shocked.
Number 3 is the Atari Jaguar that only sold 250,000 units.
Wow.
Number 2 is the Sega 32X that only sold 200,000 units.
These, I honestly thought. Look, I'm not saying they were breaking millions, but I didn't think these were these low.
Yeah, and the number 1 worst-selling console of all time. Ironically enough, that award goes to Apple for the Apple Pippin that was released in 1995 for $599. It sold 42,000 units.
What the hell does a Pippin look like?
I have no idea. It had a very limited roster of games. It was discontinued in '97. It was just listed as one of the worst tech products of all time by PC World.
Huh.
So, Apple Pippin is your worst-selling console of all time, and that's this week's Did You Know?
We are trucking right along here.
Yeah.
It's pretty...
Before, Larry, really quickly, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but before we get into the next topic, I just wanted to give a quick retro shout-out. Maybe this is something we should do a little bit more often. But I want to give a retro shout-out to one of our Facebook followers. And I really thought like he posted something really cool. His name is Jonathan. I'm not going to say his full name, but his name is Jonathan. And he wrote to us, "Hello, I am on episode 51." So he started back in the beginning. He said, "I'm 1 year behind, but I will get up to date sometime." All right. So thank you very much, Jonathan, for listening to the Retro Gamers podcast. It's the second half of what he sent that I love. "My wallet hates you, by the way. I spent so much money on consoles and games because of you." Smiley face. Now, Jonathan, I would love to say that we get a cut of this, but we definitely do not. However, we do appreciate you supporting, the retro game industry by purchasing retro games. Because obviously, Larry and I here at the Retro Gamers, we're all about retro gaming. We love it, and we encourage others to do it. So I know your wallet may be hurting, but I'm sure you're getting plenty of game time play in to make up for it.
Absolutely. And let us know where you're getting the games from, whether it's eBay, whether it's GameStop, or a local store, especially if it's local. If it's a local store, post it. Feel free to post it on the page. Maybe anyone else who happens to be in your area, they'll see it and pick up on it. Everyone knows I got Game On out here on Long Island.
Yep, and I have Game Dude here in Los Angeles, and also Game Realm. Game Realms in Burbank.
Okay.
Which is close. Yep.
And of course, we all have Super Potato.
Well, and the whole world has Super Potato, thanks to me.
And very funny, I saw it on her Instagram stories. Ms. If you're into wrestling, you know the name. Ms. Zelina Vega, formerly Rosita in TNA, now managing Andrade Cien Almas. WWE was just doing a tour over in Japan. She stopped off at Super Potato.
Oh, that's awesome!
And was taking video, everything inside there. I was like, I'm like, oh my god, we do a podcast. My buddy's over there all the time in Super Potato.
That is awesome.
Yeah, but the collecting, we've mentioned it before, man. It sometimes hurts, but the ends justify the means. And my style, as I look at my collection, my style of like what I'm now buying has changed since we started this podcast.
And how so?
When I first...
Oh, wait, I got it. You've given up on buying Virtual Boy games.
No, I am in preparation that I somehow pull off the heist of a century and win this contest that I'm going to wring Josh's neck for.
Yes.
I'm really banking on a Virtual Boy.
Yeah, and by the way, on episode 100, we will be announcing how much we have currently spent this year on retro video games, that everybody knows where we're at.
And it kind of hits in the middle of the year, almost. So
yeah, a little after the middle of the year. So we're we're 2 weeks away. But everybody will find out where we are.
Absolutely. So, and with you've always kind of did the same. You try and find as much as possible complete in box.
Yes, I love owning the original packaging. There's something about just having that just feel. Again, the same way I'm a completionist with my video games. In terms of playing, it's the same thing with the owning. Like I want to own every piece of it if I can. Now, in the U.S. for U.S. games, it's a lot harder. When I go to Japan, those guys took care of their stuff. You've seen all the photos I put online. It's like I can buy almost anything there in box. It's absurd.
Yep. And I was more, I'm just kind of interested in the game. The box would be cool. Look, I'm not saying it wouldn't be cool, but I'm not seeking that out. until recently. Now, all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? I think it would be kind of cool to start picking up some boxes. I do have, and I've gotten them, some box games anyway, just so happened the boxes came with them. Like a couple Super Nintendo games. I'm not counting the Genesis because they always were stored in their own boxes. And you picked up a couple of games for me from Super Potato that were still in box. But now I'm starting to purchase boxes for the games I have. I did it with 2 so far. Contra, one favorite game and the first one I ever beat. And I just bought a box of 1942.
Nice.
And look, they are not, I'm going to be the first to admit, they are not mint. Contra, it's good. But 1942's got some wear and tear, or as I like to call it, some love to it. So I'm not, as long as it's not a giant gaping hole down the middle of it, and it's presentable, I'm not going to worry too much about like creases or scuffs or anything. I think it's just cool now. I think it's just cool to have them.
Yeah, I agree. And when I go to conventions and stores and stuff like that, I generally, like, the first thing I do is I try to look for things in box to see how much more expensive they're going to be. Now, some of them are astronomically priced when they're in box.
Nuts.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, so it's absolutely crazy. And for those, I'll pass on. I was like, but other ones, if it's just like, if I'm not paying that much more to get it in box, or if it's a game that, like, has a specific appeal to me in terms of nostalgia, I want the box. So, like, a good example for that is, for me, Maniac Mansion. Okay. I loved Maniac Mansion on the NES when I was a kid. Loved that game. It was a point-and-click adventure game, but the game was just so fun. And LucasArts did some really great games, and Maniac Mansion was one of them. So that game, I still don't have it in box, but I have the original game, the cartridge.
Okay.
But the game in box is, a decent price more. It's like an extra like $40 just to have the box. And maybe the instruction booklet, maybe not.
Yeah, when I bought these 2 boxes for Contra in 1942, I don't think the instructions were with them. So. No, but for that one, I know, like, when the time comes and I see it, I'll invest the money to get it because there's a nostalgia factor to that specific game. Other games, I'm okay with just getting the cartridge, Okay. When I'm in Japan, though, like you said, like, for a good example, like, you and I are big into wrestling games, right? Oh, yeah.
So what blows my mind about, certain games in Japan, and I guess, obviously, like, sports games are generally common, so they usually go for less. But when I'm in, I found a bunch of wrestling games for the Super Famicom in Japan that I wanted to buy. The boxes are in, like, perfect condition. They come not only with the instruction booklet, but they also come with, like, the plastic case that the cartridge goes in. So it's like literally like a complete package. Yeah. Like it's almost as if you're buying it new. Everything's in there, and they're like $3.
Oh wow.
$4.
Wow. Okay.
And it's crazy because you would think the minute you add the box and the instruction booklet, I would automatically think it's like, okay, I'm at least paying another $10. But not the case in Japan. I've bought a handful of games. I bought a couple of games for Atari 2600 in the box, and just because it had the box, and these were cheap games. Like Tutankhamun is a very common game for that system, and I saw it in a store, and I was like, I really like the box art for it, so I'm going to pick it up.
Yeah, especially those Atari box arts were amazing. As we spoke about it, that's how they sold.
That's what sold the game. Yeah, exactly. The box art sold the game. But like, I believe I paid $15 or $20 for that one.
Okay.
And it's a fairly common game, but it's just that I really wanted the box art.
Yep. So I'm on the lookout for even empty boxes. I already have the carts. Like, I already had Contra or had 1942, so I'll just throw it in there, seal it up. I probably got about 5 or 6 NES games in box, so I'm liking that.
Yeah, I think I'm up to about a dozen.
Oh wow!
At least a dozen. I have at least a dozen.
So the other thing that I've been doing recently, thanks to one Mr. Richard Dreyfuss, is now I'm starting to get some games purposely to get autographed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, are we talking about games based on movies and TV show type of thing, or are we talking about other kinds of autographs as well?
Well, I mean, right now that's kind of the go-to. I had actually, no, that's a lie. I have a copy of Jaws, but when I went to Chiller in April, Richard Dreyfuss was there, and that's when it dawned on me, stupid me, why didn't I bring my copy of Jaws to sign? Someone had Jaws there, so I'm like, you know what? For another $5, I'll pick up another one, which would make sense to me actually, because I won't keep popping in and out the autographed one, so at least the autograph won't get ruined. And I'll just play the other one. So I got the cartridge signed, and after he signed it, trying to figure out again what it was. I'm like, this is an NES game from the '90s.
80s.
I'm like, that game I thought it came out early '90s.
Nah, I thought it was '80s.
Wasn't it based on Jaws 4?
Yeah, Jaws 4 was '87.
Was it really?
I believe so, yeah.
Holy cow, never mind then. I thought Jaws 4 came out in the early 90s.
Nope.
Wow. Okay, fair enough. So anyway, so now I'm like, this seems to be a cool idea for autographs. So I've recently purchased 2 games, one for the NES, one for the Atari. Now these are going to be a little daring because these I'm actually going to mail to get autographed. Now, to pull the curtain back a little bit, just to talk about some of the history, it was weird. For the longest time, like when I was younger, it was cool to get autographs. Then I'm like, it's autographs I can pass on. Mostly it's been with wrestling, because I know a lot of people hang out, like, we're from Brooklyn, we're from New York City, so people would hang out outside the Garden looking for autographs. I never did that. And
I remember that. I also remember people hanging out in the hotel lobbies, people hanging out at the airport, basically anywhere they can go.
My favorite story was only a few years ago in Dallas for WrestleMania. Some idiot saw Shinsuke Nakamura crossing the street, and he ran into the middle of the street pretty much to, hit up Shinsuke Nakamura, who just got to the WWE, for an autograph. So it was.
Well, that was nice of him to risk his life for that.
No, and then a crowd follows him. I'm like, this is nuts. Anyway, so what I did was when I started getting into autographs, what I would do is I found this company, and I'll give them a shout out real quick. They're called The Autograph Card, theautographcard.com. You're going to also find them on Facebook, where they sell baseball card size cards. They're blank, but they have themes to them: wrestling, Olympics, each sport, even movies, and stuff like that. The idea being either A, you carry some on you if you happen to be somewhere, and then they can sign something real quick, or what I did, mail them. The cards, pack of 20, were like $10 each. So you break that down, plus 2 stamps, because I'd always send a self-addressed stamp envelope to have it back. You mail it away, see what happens. Some come back, some don't. They don't come back, all right, it's not a big deal. I've mailed magazines, which cost more money to and from, that I haven't gotten back yet. But now I'm like, you know what? Let me try this with some video games. So I picked up 2 of them. The first one, which coincides pretty much with the return of this show, popular show, Double Dare. So I picked up Double Dare on NES. Double Dare is now back on Nickelodeon. New host, but Mark Summers took over for Harvey. So now Mark Summers, is the announcer. And he has, like, Mark Summers Productions. Also, this is how I get the address. I just kind of go online and kind of do a search. Sometimes some people will post them on Twitter or something, like a P.O. box. So,
and just a real quick Double Dare sidebar before I forget. My friend is going to be on tomorrow night's, and when I say tomorrow night's, I mean Monday night's episode of Double Dare.
Really?
So if you are watching Double Dare, or at this point our episode drops after it airs,
I'm sure
but if there's a place to stream it or whatever it is, it's like, yes, my friend Adam, who I've known for like 12 years. We used to work together, and then he's worked on some of the productions I've done and whatnot. But yeah, he's going to be on Double Dare. He was actually on Double Dare when he was a kid.
Really?
And when they came back this season, they were looking for past contestants, so he contacted them, and he wound up getting on the show.
Yeah, that is hysterical because, again, real quick, I didn't tell Anthony that I picked up Double Dare, and I had no idea he was going to have this Double Dare story. That is actually awesome.
Yeah. So he's actually on Double Dare with his son.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is super cool.
That's awesome.
So,
Anyway,
I
love Double Dare. So I picked up Double Dare. I went to Mark Summers' website. He's got an address. Anyone can pull it up, so I'm not giving anything away. It was either his agent or his actual production. So I'm going to try and send it to his production. So that one I'm going to take a chance. The game, inexpensive. It's like $5 or something. So if it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back. I'm just trying to figure out how to ship it. Not necessarily the cheapest. I know it's going to cost, like magazines usually cost about $6 each way. So I'm just trying to figure out the best way to ship it with a quote-unquote self-addressed stamped envelope. But so I'm trying to figure that out. Anyway, that's Double Dare. If I can get that signed by Mark Summers, that would be awesome. The other game, now this is going to be a little inside, so maybe a small group of people who are going to find this interesting. Krull. Remember the early 1980s?
Oh my God,
Krull?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Great movie. People got to check it out. It stars a young Liam... Actually, no. One of the supporting cast is a young Liam Neeson. Very... it's got that, like, medieval feel to it. It's fantasy. This August, the guys over at Riff Tracks, which, if you don't know what Riff Tracks is, they're the guys who were on Mystery Science Theater 3000. My favorite show of all time. I was part of the Kickstarter to bring them back. So Mike, Bill, and Kevin, who, Mike Nelson, Bill Corbin, who played Crow, Kevin Murphy, who played Tom Servo, they do... Basically, they still do MST3K, just without the silhouettes, without the actual show behind it, without the puppets.
Right.
Now it's just voiceover. And on side note, today, before we recorded this, they did a riff tracks of Cool as Ice, the Vanilla Ice movie. Hysterical. Yep. It's on Amazon Prime.
Well, somebody had to make that funny.
Oh, very funny. Just throughout the whole episode, the girl's like, "So you sang Informer?" It was hysterical. That was the running game throughout the whole thing. Anyway, so they're doing Krull in August, and I'm going to do my best to mail an Atari 2600 copy of Krull to their office. It's actually out there in California, San Diego, I think. Hopefully I can get the three of them to sign it. Hopefully they'll be able to, 3 signatures will fit on an Atari 2600 cartridge. And
good luck with that.
Yeah, and I like that because that's kind of, that's not anyone from Krull, but it's still kind of related. So that's another one. So those 2 games I'm going to be mailing out soon. I'll let you know. If I get them back, I'll post the pictures. But I'm actually looking forward to Krull more than Double Dare.
Oh, good lord! Well, I hope they do. I hope they do sign them for you. I never thought about getting video games signed, but autographs are not my thing. They've never been my thing. Mm-hmm. Like when I was a kid, I did a handful of like wrestling autographs. I'm like, but
we had fun
outside
time.
of that, yeah, we had fun time, and because it was there, it was always easy. I'm like, but and we did a little bit of it in the late '90s too, when the Attitude Era was hot for WWF. But it just hasn't been my thing. I even just started doing it recently for comic books, and it's still kind of sort of not. It's just not something I enjoy doing per se.
I get it. Like I don't like. I'll really do it if it's convenient to get the autograph. Like I'm not going to go out like we talked about before. I'm not going to wait outside the hotel or try and find a celebrity somewhere. If they're at a Comic-Con, I'll hit them up. My go-tos lately have been the pop vinyls, and now I'm going to see what I can.
And now video games.
Yeah, because when I got the Richard Dreyfuss autograph, and even now, I look at it, I'm like, that's actually really cool.
Well, me getting a video game, like, I can only think of one off the top of my head that would really want to get signed, but so it already ruins the whole idea because I can never, ever, ever get Dana Plato's autograph on Night Trap.
That's going to be a tough one.
So already this plan is no good for me.
That'd be awesome. Can you imagine that? So that's my new go-to, and I think now, and there's some stuff like I got a copy of Knight Rider, I mean, the
Oh, my.
odds. Oh, but hold on. No, that could work because Mr. Feeney, who was the voice of Kit, Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World, is going to be at Monster Mania, which is in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
And
No,
you're going.
Not Cherry Hill. Atlantic City, I think.
Why is Mr. Feeney going to be at something called Monster Mania?
Because a lot of these Monster Manias, Chilla Theater, New Jersey
They just
Horror-Con,
they get whoever they can.
Yeah, you know, B, C, D. And
Well, I mean
great
that makes sense.
and Mr. Feeney's awesome. He can show up wherever he wants. He's Mr. Feeney. And Kit.
Are you gonna get JD Roth to sign the NES game Funhouse?
Gee, I think so. Which McDonald's is he working at?
That's cold.
I loved Funhouse.
I loved Funhouse too. That was a great show.
Roth, good lord. He hosted one other show, I remember. I can't remember what it was.
Oh, I have no idea.
It was those weird tokens. I don't know why I was obsessed with those stupid tokens. Funhouse, good lord.
Funhouse. Yeah, I mean, and that game was terrible. You should try and get the American Gladiators game signed by some of the Gladiators.
Nitro, Pyro.
I don't even know where those guys are.
No, it's and looking at the games, like I'm just kind of off the top of my head. There's some games out that you can get away with. Not a lot of them, obviously.
Well, here, you know what? Let me throw you a challenge. I'll throw you down a challenge. This could be a good one.
Okay.
And it could be a good one, or it could be a bad one. But I'm trying to figure out if it's possible for you to take a WWF game and get it signed by everybody in it. And when I'm talking about it, I'm talking about the old ones.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Oh, no, yeah, obviously.
Not the ones with 80, 90 people. I'm talking about the ones that had like a maximum of like 12 or 10.
You know what? I'm already running through my head the games.
I don't think any one of them has
Yeah.
all living participants in it.
I think each one of them, and we're talking NES, Genesis. We'll go up to the Super. We'll even go to the N64.
No, they're not all of them.
There's got to be at least someone dead from each one. Well, N64 is too big of a roster. Let's stick even up to Super Nintendo. But even then,
And that's just sad.
no, it stinks. That's like the Royal Rumble. Which one's got the most participants not with us anymore?
Oh, I don't know.
We actually figured that out.
We had figured that out
It was
one time,
late,
but
too.
No. I think it was WrestleMania we were figuring out, and it was actually WrestleMania. I think it was WrestleMania like 20 or 20. Like it was a later one where it's like.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, it was a WrestleMania we did, and there were just a whole bunch of people that are just no longer alive, and it's very sad.
All right.
But anyway, or maybe get a game and get as many of the autographs as you can on one of them.
No, that's what I'm thinking of. I think I can do that.
I'm sure you can.
Actually, I could. Because
Video game autographs. I wonder if anybody's done this before.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure I'm not the first one.
I don't know. I mean, I've never really looked up. I've never really thought of let me go on eBay and see if there are any autographed NES games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean it literally. And I'm not even talking. Look, the odds that I can ever get an actual programmer or Miyamoto or anything like that. I doubt that's going to happen. I'm thinking more celebrity.
When you do a search for autographed games on eBay, the first 3 that come up are signed by the Angry Video Game Nerd.
I tried. You know what? I tried to get his autograph. I'm going to steal a little bit here that I do on one of the other podcasts on the Yin and the Yang. Shoot out some more. Not James Roth. He's awesome. He's cool. He started this whole thing of video game reviews, in my opinion. And the Angry Video Game Nerd, very funny. His running buddy there, old Matt Matei, or whatever the hell his name is. Him, this is the words of myself. This is not anything related with Anthony or the Retro Gamers. All me. All Larry. All more 365. He, I find, to be a jerk. Reason being, I must have emailed Cinemassacre, which goes to Mike, whatever his last name is, 5 times. Not in a row. Over months period. Maybe over a year. Saying, and this is, I think, when the AV Jan movie came out. Which is a fun movie. Very fun movie. Going, hey, look, I got the AVGN DVD. And this is when I was getting a lot of DVDs signed, because I got a lot of DVDs signed. And I'd love to get an autograph from James, and I tell him, I'll send the, return envelope, I'll pay for all of it. I'm just looking for a P.O. box. That's all. Just a P.O. box. Or even just a response saying, hey, we don't do that. That's fine by me. It's like, I emailed him 5 times. I got 4 of them with no responses. And I remember the one response was just something like just very, when I first said, hey, look, I would love to send something for him to get autographed. Do you have a P.O. box? It was just like, just a 2-word, 3 words. What is it? Like, not even a, hey, thanks for being a fan, or, hey, this is it, or, hey, we don't do that. Again, that'd be fine by me. So I've been searching for, and he was out here, James Rolfe was out here, I forgot, for one of the things, but I just couldn't make it. But his buddy there, I can't stand. So.
Okay, well, at least you're not hiding it.
No, not at all.
But I will say, if you do a search on eBay, you do get a lot of James Rolfe signed video games.
He was out here for something, because I remember looking for a copy of Castlevania 2.
That
was his first review.
And speaking of Castlevania 2, are you ever going to finish that?
Absolutely not. I doubt it.
Okay. All right.
I hate that game.
Well, then I'm glad I finished it for us.
Maybe one
See,
day...
even your unfinished games bother me.
Oh, then you're not going to like that list.
No, I know. I'm going to spend the rest of my life finishing the games that you didn't.
That's the story of my life. What do you expect? Oh,
hey.
Man. So yeah, I'll let everyone. I'll keep them up to date with the autographs. Yeah, it just dawned on me like the last week or so. I'm just trying to think of absurd games to get autographed now. Like, I'm running them through my head, and I'm like, it's mostly gonna be movie.
No, I know. Can you get Christopher Lloyd to sign, Fester's Quest?
I would love to, but I already have his autograph.
Oh, on what?
Back to the Future.
On the video game?
No. This is before. No, I got a box set.
You got to get him. No. But see, we're talking video games now.
I know.
And there you go.
I would get Michael J. Fox, but I don't think there'd be enough room for him to sign.
Oh, that's that. But you know what? I love a joke as much as the next guy. I mean, hell, I threw a Dana Plato joke out there, but come on. Come on, man.
Stewie, I gotta tell you about your future. No, Mike, I gotta tell you about your future.
Oh.
Family Guy? Anybody? No? Hello.
So wrong.
Hello.
Just so wrong. But yeah, no, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting. Actually, I would love to hear from anybody who listens to our show if they've ever gotten a video game autographed and what it is and who signed it. I'll be honest with you. Like, if I really had to get a game autographed, it would have to be either Super Mario Brothers or Legend of Zelda by Shigeru Miyamoto.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that goes without saying.
Like, hands down. Like, that's like, for me, like the epitome of getting, an autograph for video game.
Let me ask you this though, and I know I'm putting you on the spot, so forgive me. All right, those I feel would be hard because short of what's his face who does the voice of Mario, these the developers don't really do these cons or these shows.
No, they don't.
Not often. So it's going to be more practical to get a movie star or sports guy or girl, whatever. What would you think, other than Mario or Zelda, what would be your go-to? Because right now, because I'm even staring at it, if I could get Mike Tyson's Punch-Out signed by Tyson, I think that would be my number one.
Ooh, interesting.
And that's even above Hulk Hogan signing my copy of WrestleMania.
Wow. Okay, that's huge.
That's because you pretty much mail anything to Hogan and
right. That's true. I guess the answer for me would have to be, and it popped right in my head as soon as you said it. It has to be Robert Englund, Nightmare on Elm Street. Because Nightmare on Elm Street is my favorite horror movie of all time. And Robert Englund is, the role he played was absolutely amazing. So that would definitely be the one.
You will be at Monster Mania in Cherry Hill.
There you go. I also wouldn't mind getting Kane Hodder to sign Friday the 13th because he was the definitive Jason.
Okay. All right.
But Robin England first.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
should we get William Shatner to sign the Halloween game for the Atari 2600 since it's technically his face on Michael Myers?
I've dealt with him at an autograph signing. You don't want to deal with him at an autograph signing.
Noted.
No, yeah, everyone knows my. I'm the only person you'll know that's got into fights with two different cast members of Star Trek from two different generations.
That's good.
Shatner.
And one day, I want to run into Will Wheaton just to talk to him about it.
He can go to hell. He was the first one that started it all. Anyway, let us know what your ultimate autograph would be on a video game. Let us know on the Facebook page. Let us know on the Instagram page. Somehow, contact us. I don't know how you do that on Instagram, but do it. And
I have no idea.
Let us know, and I will keep you in the loop. And now, I'm sure Anthony now is going to try and see what games he has to autograph.
I'm going to try and one-up you, of course. All right, Larry, it's time for us to celebrate another retro birthday.
Ooh.
And this is an interesting one because I have a personal connection to this game. So I want to wish a happy 26th Japanese birthday. It was released in Japan 26 years ago this week to the one and only Mario Paint on the Super Nintendo.
Mario Paint, probably the first game I actually saved up for with my own money to purchase.
Wow.
And I bought it, hold on, to get even older, I bought it at Consumers.
Oh. Oh, that hurts.
Remember that store, Consumers?
Yes.
You ordered from a catalog in the store. That's how it worked.
That's just bad. But anyway, so Mario Paint is 26 years old. And the personal connection that I have to that game, and you know this, is because I created a music video using Mario Paint.
That video, do you still have that?
I recently discovered said video, or the VHS that has the video on.
Old school VHS, yeah.
Right. So I will be making an attempt to digitize that so I can post it on Facebook.
Absolutely. I remember it was like one of the first things you showed me when we started hanging out, because you made that before we started hanging out.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, this came out in 92,
yeah.
Mario Paint, so I made that, yeah. I made that around the time Wayne's World came out because I chose Bohemian Rhapsody as the music video. And this was pre-internet, so I had to guess some of the lyrics because I didn't understand all of the words. So there are a bunch of lyrics that are completely wrong.
Really?
To make it even funnier.
Oh yeah. I don't think I ever realized that. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, Mario Paint was an awesome game, completely interactive, allowed you to make whatever you wanted. I made a music video out of it, and I was very proud of it.
Damn good.
But so that is, that is this week's retro birthday. Happy birthday, Mario Paint.
All right, so we're coming up to that end level.
Yes,
thing.
we are at the end of this episode. It's over. It's over. Like the virtual voice placement in history. It's over.
I also like how that one improv class really helped me. I wanted to say the end level flagpole like in Super Mario Brothers. I'm staring at it, and I'm gonna be like end level thing.
Level thing. No, we're at the end of the level. That's it, Larry. We're done. I don't know what else to say to you except I'm done talking to you today.
Absolutely. Episode 98 in the books. And of course, you can still find us everywhere.
You can still find us everywhere, and there's no question about it. We're definitely sticking around for at least 2 more episodes. After that, I promise nothing.
That's when the contracts are up, and then disputes will happen, and our lawyers. Somehow, my own lawyer will fight with me. I don't get it.
Yeah, well, I already have it on good word that your lawyer is going to award me everything.
Do we cheat him and how?
There you go.
So check us out everywhere. Just do a search for the Retro Gamers. Go to Apple iTunes. Apple. Gosh darn it. Go to Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating. Because we deserve it. We deserve it, right?
Oh yeah, no, we've totally earned it. I mean,
Absolutely.
look at all the work we put into this.
Yes. Absolutely. Tender loving care. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/RetroGamersPodcast, on Instagram at @the_RetroGamers, and one day at the website at TheRetroGamers.com.
Yes, under construction. Don't go there now. It looks like crap.
And send us an email, too. We have an email address.
That is correct. Email us any questions you have, anything, any suggestions, any games you want us to cover that maybe we haven't. We'd be happy to take any kind of suggestions, you guys. Or if you just want to, write to us and curse us out, that's cool too.
Either way, email at TheRetroGamers.com. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. You, my friend, have a wonderful... Are you still in the U.S. for a little while?
I'm going to be in the U.S. for a while now. For at least, for as far as I can tell, for at least a couple more months.
Okay.
Maybe longer. So I may actually feel like I'm an American again.
Good. About time. And with that, folks, thank you very much all for downloading us. Catch you right here next week on The Retro Gamers.